Here, Joey.
Hi, I'm Matt Weber. This is my Master Gardener final project based on pages 353 to 413 of the Master Gardener Handbook, a guide for vegetable and herb cultivation. I've tailored it to my own experience growing in the Antelope Valley, Palmdale, and Lancaster. My target audience is people recovering from drug addiction. My first job when I got clean was at a local garden center. I want to support gardening with people living in recovery housing, sober livings, or participating with an inpatient or outpatient treatment program. Gardening and horticultural therapy is evidence-based recovery support. I've shared some research articles in the last slide of this presentation for anyone interested. And I also want to thank Antonio Sanchez from our native plants presentation last week for mentioning the Turning Point Foundation's Growing Works Nursery as a local leader in this therapeutic space. Gardening combines physical activity, structured routine, exposure to nature, stress reduction, social connection, and meaningful purpose. The National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, explains that substances alter brain circuits involved in reward and compulsive use. SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, defines recovery as improving health and wellness, living a self-directed life, and reaching one's full potential. Research on horticultural therapy and nature exposure shows benefits related to cortisol, stress regulation, mood, quality of life, cognitive function, and reduced cravings. For those of us in recovery, addiction hijacked our brain's reward, stress, and self-control systems. In recovery, we try new health promoting routines, non-drug sources of reward, regulation, and connection. Gardening is a commitment to life, health, and community, the opposites of addiction. This slide presentation will quickly take us through some basics, including 1, soil considerations, 2, where and how to set up, including in the ground, containers, or community garden sites. 3, weather challenges. 4, good vegetable and herb selections for the Antelope Valley. 5, watering tips. And 6, some closing remarks. Next slide is a cool soil test. You can do this test in the slide, and if you do, then you can use the soil pyramid on this slide to determine your soil type. If you grow in the ground, you may need to amend with organic materials to improve drainage. Antelope Valley soils are desert alluvial soils, which means they're sediment carried by water from the mountains and deposited across the valley floor over time. We have sandy, loamy, silty, clay, saline, alkaline, or compacted layers, and often an underlying caliche hard pan. A simple test is just take a golf ball sized lump of soil, wet it. If it gets sticky and can be molded into a dense ball, you have clay. If it is gritty and doesn't hold together, it's sand. If it forms a soft ball, neither coarse nor sticky, you have loam. To test drainage, dig a 1 by 1 hole, so a foot deep, foot wide. Fill it with water. You might need to do that twice. And time how long it takes to drain. If it drains in 15 minutes, that's fast. If it takes more than an hour, that's slow. And medium is somewhere in between. This simple test is from the Theodore Payne Foundation, Getting Started with Native Plants. You can check them out at theodorepayne.org. Payne is how you spell pain. The main thing to know is your soil has to both drain and hold water and nutrients in order for your plants to thrive. Waterlogged clay won't work, but neither will straight sand. Your veggies want a clay or a sandy loam structure. Soil and water pH typically should be around 7. Veggies mostly need nitrogen, and that's the first number on your fertilizer, NPK. If you buy gardening soil for your veggies and herbs, which I recommend, a good quality potting mix with some perlite, worm castings, and an organic fertilizer, 444 or 10-10-10, is a good mix. And try composting. You can see a picture of me there doing that. Next slides focus on site selection. You can draw your site, measure it, outline it at scale if you can, map your plot, design your rows. Square foot gardening is effective. What challenges will you face requiring special attention, such as steep slopes? Pay attention to sun and shade in the morning and afternoon. 6 hours a day is considered full sun. You can grow anywhere, and wherever you choose brings different factors to consider. If you cut into a hillside like you see in the slide, you may have runoff. The picture looks level, but actually at this recovery house site in Palmdale, we did not spend enough time on a retaining wall and we had a runoff problem. Soil and nutrients were washed away. As you can see, I've tried containers, raised beds, and growing in the ground. My backyard with shade cover was moderately successful. You might be able to see the little moats I formed around each plant. The raised bed was also a repurposed wall cabinet. And the next slide shows a Kratky method project by Kenny Thomas from this year's Master Gardener class. He was kind enough to let me include these photos. The Kratky method involves growing hydroponically directly in a nutrient mix with no dirt. It's very low maintenance, no pumps or water movement. You start seeds or cuttings in a rockwill or rapid rooter plug, then place that into a net cup with hydrogen clay pebbles for support and cover the clear jar or you'll get algae. You also need a couple of measuring tools to test pH and nutrient content. If you can't find anywhere to garden or you don't think you're ready to start on your own, then a community garden can be a great introduction. The next two slides are community gardens. We don't have a lot of options right now in the AV, but I'm hopeful that's going to change soon. The couple potential partners out here are One Colors, the founder and executive director of the Wildflower Project. She's a master gardener, and also Jesse Lee with the nonprofit Street Company. They just got a grant and got their plans approved to start a farm and garden site in the Antelope Valley in Lancaster. So can't wait. In the meantime, can organize field trips to garden and farm sites in greater Los Angeles. There's a link in the slide to help you locate and research projects that interest you. The pictures are of a community garden started by AVPH, the Antelope Valley Partners for Health, and also an aquaponics site at Amistad, and which is a reentry housing site operated by Amity Foundation, and also St. Stephen's, our beloved MG training site in Hollywood. Food justice is a great reason to grow food in community gardens. So the next two slides are beat the heat. Lancaster's hot and cold. That's great for the chill period for growing fruit trees. Can be challenging though for veggies and herbs. You can try out different techniques such as shade cloth, frost covers, and greenhouses. Planting time is important. Eggplant likes heat, and I planted too early and lost 3 plants. I thought the heat spell we got in March was going to continue, but it got cold again. So you live and you learn. There's a couple images of greenhouses. One is St. Stephen's, and the other is a photo that shows some other temperature controls, a retractable shade cloth, and a fan for ventilation. The next two slides are herbs and cool weather and warm weather crops. So rosemary and basil are in the slide, but you could also try oregano, cilantro, thyme, parsley, and sage. Rosemary is really tough to kill, which is great. Rosemary could also help repel pests, but that's not actually adopted by UC IPM materials, but it's still a great herb for the garden. Basil is a little bit of a challenge sometimes. I'm growing some from Trader Joe's right now. We'll see how it goes. Cool season crops. My go-tos are included in this, and I also want to try winter squash and rhubarb. I struggled with aphids on my kale, and I ate a few. You can knock them off with water or keep them away with a lightweight insect netting. You should also rotate crops if you're growing brassicas. Grow only what you can eat or easily distribute, and consider planting more in the winter. Winter crops need less water and tend to grow more in each square foot of garden space. So this slide for warm season crops lists the ones that I've tried, and I've done pretty well with eggplant. Although you should shake it to help with fertilization, and you should keep your watering consistent. I had a problem with that, and my fruit suffered. I also managed a few bell peppers, but haven't gotten any hot varieties yet. Tomatoes have been a mixed bag for me. I've had some cherry varieties be successful, and I've used cages, but not trellises. And like I said, I haven't tried squash, okra, or sweet potato yet, but I intend to. I've also included the UCIPM pest site for reference. Good takeaways are to prevent first, start with, and then maintain healthy soil, proper spacing, correct watering, good drainage, crop rotation, sanitation, and choose resistant varieties. Keeping your plant healthy makes it less vulnerable. Also try to protect beneficial insects and use pesticides only as a last resort. I have some watering tips on this last slide that's taken straight out of Dr. Paula Schiffman's recent presentation. Water deeply and infrequently. Don't flush nutrients out of your soil unless that's your purpose, to correct a salt buildup. And last slide are some personal outcomes and opportunities for improvement. It's always a great goal to eat your own food and share it with others. And I just want to thank everyone for listening, and have a great day.